FFA basically is a program that's main goal is to provide students with vocational and leadership education, as well as spreading the word about agriculture in general and the growing of food. Because nowadays, with more mechanization and urbanization, kids are becoming more and more removed from the farm. So we think it's important to make sure that the general public is in the know about where their food comes from.
FFA means being a part of a leadership organization that really brings out the best in students and is able to reach out to the community and just be involved with different things and being involved with the agricultural community.
When I was a kid, my favorite thing about FFA was competing in this Ag Skills contest, getting on the bus and going to the university and competing against all the other kids in the state for whatever contest I was on. And then winning medals and walking across the stage.
I love that it's a big family. Like, people come together and have fun, meet outside of school for competition activities, help each other out. I love that it's kind of hands-on, more like going out and actually doing stuff instead of like math class, just doing problems all day. These classes, we get to go out and grow food or raise chickens and see how all this stuff works.
FFA means to me a group of people that get together and we do things and we compete and we just generally have a good time together.
My favorite topic to teach is actually teaching students how to work with equipment safely. We work with a lot of equipment back here, chainsaws, blowers, string trimmers, hedge trimmers, zero-turn mowers, tractors, some basic saws and things like that, pruning, but giving them a lifetime skill they'll be able to use for a long time.
I think it's great to see so much stuff get done. I have a great chapter. One of the best things I like about being president is when I said, you know what, if you guys want to do a fundraiser, if you guys want to do an event, you can plan it. And the members have planned many fundraisers and events, and we've had a lot of fun.
I like being an officer because it gives me a little bit of control of some of the situations or events that we host, and I kind of get to be behind the scenes with some of the stuff and gives me more leadership skills. So.
Well, it goes all the way back to 8th grade. In the high school I was in, we had 8th grade introduction to agriculture, and what I liked was all the hands-on type of things we did. It wasn't just reading books and regurgitating stuff from memory on tests. We actually had to perform things. And we were tested on how well we actually performed the skills.
When I was in 8th grade, I was at the 8th grade open house, and I came here in the back room and I saw the mower, the lawnmower sharpening blades, the fish tank, the hydroponics, and I thought, you know, this is something that's really cool.
I've seen it for my first 2 years at Saline. I've seen people wear it, wearing the jacket, and noticed the flag out in the hallway and wondered what it was interested in it. And my sophomore year, when I was signing up for schedules, I noticed zoology and botany, and that caught my attention, and decided to take zoology, see how I liked it.
I wanted to join FFA because I had seen others who went through the program, and I thought it would be a really great experience, and I was also inspired by some of the people I know.
Well, why should people join, take an agriculture class? And because they're synonymous, because you cannot be an FFA, formerly known as Future Farmers of America, now it's just the National FFA organization, because it's much more than farming. We have a growing population in this world, and as a result, people have to eat. Not only that, people have to be clothed. unless we're all going to run around naked. So there's a challenge to meet that. And the problem is 20% of all jobs in agriculture go unfilled each year. So the demand for kids that understand the food supply, and I'm not talking about farming, I'm talking about food scientists. A food scientist can make very, very good money, and most of them are about ready to retire right now. So there's a lot of opportunity out there to provide the food and fiber that we need. Managing our ecology, our environment, which is affecting our climate, and the things that we do with agriculture affects our climate. So there's a lot of challenges coming up, and we need students to get into those kind of majors in college and provide the food and fiber and the environmental things we need for the world.
Thomas Harrison, T-H-O-M-A-S, last name's Harrison, H-A-R-R-I-S-O-N. So we're the oldest ladder manufacturer in the United States. We were founded in 1901, and every single day we manufacture and distribute ladders all across the country. So we receive raw materials, which could be lumber in the case of wood ladders, or pieces of fiberglass or aluminum or steel, and then we machine them and put them together, and they turn into fiberglass, aluminum, wood ladders. When I arrived at Michigan Ladder 11 years ago, they were still manufacturing wood ladders, and just wood ladders, and purchasing some fiberglass and aluminum ladders that they would in turn resell. And now we manufacture wood, fiberglass, and aluminum ladders in our plant in Ypsilanti, Michigan, and we are the only ladder manufacturer in the United States to do so. So all over the U.S., we're east of the Rocky Mountains, and we go down through Texas and Oklahoma and through the South and Florida and up the East Coast and Washington, D.C. The White House uses our ladders. New York and New England, places like that. In the ladder industry, you could break it up into two big parts in the United States. One is the retail side of the business, which is Home Depot, Lowe's, and Walmart, and we do not sell to them. And the other side is the commercial industrial side of the ladder industry, and that really is our market. So we sell a lot to the oil and gas industry, to electricians, to hardcore tradesmen, and we sell through what they call industrial distributors, which are sort of hardcore hardware stores for those customers. So we go to a number of conventions and trade shows that are designed around other industrial products, including ladders, throughout the year. We've had a number of retail companies who have asked us to build ladders that they would use as retail display fixtures in their stores. So we've sold Levi Strauss, we've sold Tommy Hilfiger, Harry and David, and a number of other companies, but probably the most famous other company was Victoria's Secret. We're always looking for new products that we can manufacture. We're continually expanding our manufacturing and manufacturing more and more products in our own facility. And none of our competitors are doing that. All of our competitors have moved their production offshore to other countries.
So we were featured in the Wall Street Journal, on the cover of the Wall Street Journal. I think that was March 15th of 2011, if I remember correctly. We were on the Kudlow Report, which was on CNBC, and we've gotten a lot of local media attention with the Ann Arbor News.
So throughout our 115 years, we've manufactured a variety of other products, including wood toys and wood building blocks and furniture and workbenches and kiddie climbs and diving boards and so forth. Probably our most famous other product that we manufactured was a line of ping pong tables. And if you saw the movie Forrest Gump, all of those ping pong tables were manufactured by us in Ypsilanti. So I really don't know about World War I. I know that World War II, at that time, the government mandated what companies would make and who they would sell it to, and I know during the Second World War, we sold all of our ladders to the U.S. Navy. So the business was still kind of reeling from the downturn that happened after the 9/11 and the Iraq War and so forth, and now with the addition of all the other products that we manufacture in our plant, the company's doing quite well. We have a very diverse workforce at Michigan Ladder. We have just about 30 employees, and we host 2 work enclaves. One is a group of developmentally disadvantaged individuals that we're trying to reintegrate into the workforce. The other work enclave is a group with closed head injuries, and again with the idea of reintegrating them into the workforce. We are also what they call a felony-friendly company, so we've been recognized by the state of Michigan as a company that will hire people who have spent time in prison. And we make a lot of workplace accommodations. We have people that have to work from a wheelchair, and so we have set up their workstations so they can work from a wheelchair. We have some that have to stand, and so we've set up workstations so they can stand while they're doing their work. And a variety of things like that. And people once asked me what the benefit was to doing that, other than getting a pat on the back, and I told them that what you get is a painfully loyal workforce.
The personal computer, a device developed in the late half of the 20th century, which today is owned by billions of people worldwide. The PC is one of the most versatile tools ever invented, and it can be used for many tasks ranging from productivity to video gaming. With modern advancements in technology, the PC is becoming more powerful, more affordable, and more customizable. Today, we're going to take you into the world of custom computer building, where people design, build, and use their very own computers to do exactly what they need. Hello, and welcome to our documentary on custom computers. Now, many of you have never seen a custom computer, let alone know what goes into one. So we'll start there. Most of you know what this is, a computer case, but not what's inside of it. Inside, you have many different parts, including the processor, or CPU, which serves as the brain of the computer. The RAM, which serves as a quick memory unit which the CPU runs programs on. Another key component, especially for a gamer, is a graphics card, or the GPU, which is essentially a completely separate computer that has the sole purpose of rendering graphics. There are also hard drives, disk drives, and a power supply. But there's one piece that links all of these parts together: the motherboard. Every single connection in a computer somehow passes through the motherboard, and it serves as a big data highway for the computer. Let's talk to our expert, Dr. Steven Sartori, about what a computer is.
Actually, building a computer isn't that difficult. You certainly want to research, find out what your application, what your needs are, and then purchase parts. Once you purchase parts, typically you start with the case, put in the power supply, add in the motherboard, then go ahead for your memory and any of those other things, hard drives, optical drives, all that kind of stuff. My computer servicing students, they can put together a computer in less than one class period, so 50, 60 minutes they can put it together. I think hands-on, people really like to do that. People that are wanting something special out of a computer, building your own computer is a lot of fun if you like that kind of activity. If you don't like that kind of activity, it can be tedious, and I would just suggest buying a already built setup. There's what we call an open architecture, which means you can build anything you want. Typically, you're going to really customize a PC if you want it to be extra fast video, so like video games or rendering for, say, weather maps, things like that take a lot of video, take a lot of memory, those kind of things. You have to research it, figure out what you need. Not all parts are compatible with each other, so you have to figure that out. And then you got to build it. Hopefully it works. If it doesn't work, then you need to troubleshoot it. So it's a lot like any other project. It's just smaller and condensed than if you're building a car or something like that. It is self-satisfying. A lot of people they do it because they enjoy it. It's a lot of fun to shop for those parts, and sometimes that's even more fun than the actual building, doing the research and deciding what you want and looking for this and that, then trying to find the best price and then ordering it all in. That's actually a lot of fun sometimes, and then putting it all together. It is self-satisfying once you hit the start button and that operating system loads and it's ready to go. That can be a lot of fun.
Dr. Sartori does have a point. It's easy to customize a PC, and if you're looking for something that does not require as much work, you might want to buy one pre-made, although the experience of building your very own computer is much more fulfilling.
Custom computers can be split into 3 individual tiers: low-end, mid-range, and high-end. Each tier is separated by price and performance, with the low ends costing around $600, while the high ends can go for many thousands of dollars. With myself representing the high-end spectrum, I talked to a couple of other students who represent low-end and mid-range computers.
So I went with low-end because at the time I was really I didn't have a steady income or any money at all. So I just waited a little bit, got some money from my parents, got some money from my grandparents, and I just saved up, and I was like, all right, I think this is good enough. I'll get what I can and upgrade from there. On my PC, I spent around $600. I didn't really have a lot of money at the time, and I really just wanted a PC, so instead of just going out and buying a decent laptop, I tried and built a pretty good PC.
I primarily use my PC for gaming on Steam, which I play CSGO. When I'm not doing that, I am doing schoolwork or using YouTube. Without discounts, I would have spent about $2,000, and about $1,500 was the tower.
Well, primarily I use my PC for video editing and other media productions such as photo editing and graphics. Right now, I've rebuilt the computer a couple of times for minor upgrades, and total on that, I've spent a little over $2,000 just on the tower, and then everything else you see behind me adds up to a grand total of around $3,000.
I prefer my PC because I can do a lot of stuff with it, not just for gaming or schoolwork. I could also just go on the internet and browse the web.
I came from a laptop, so when I actually turned it on and the visual quality was amazing, it was more, I don't know if it was an accomplishment, but I was just amazed that it actually worked and how good it looked.
When we first booted up, it was like, whoa, that's pretty cool. But then it just completely shut down and we didn't know what was happening. We couldn't figure it out. We were thinking maybe something fried or something. I didn't know what it was I didn't know what to do. That was my first ever PC, so I was trusting my brother in everything that was going on. So when he said, I don't know what to do, I was like, oh, I don't know what to do either. And then I finally had an expert come in who was like, oh, yeah, you didn't really plug that in right. So we fixed it and we switched it on, and next thing you know, I was gaming on my PC.
When I did first turn my PC on, I really did feel a big sense of accomplishment because, I came from a family where pretty much everyone was way back in the terms of technology. So before this, I had a computer from the 90s. My whole family just didn't really get that much into technology. So when I decided to spend all this money on a higher quality machine that I would then take myself into the 21st century finally, I really felt a big sense of accomplishment when that happened.
I got into gaming around March of 2014 when one of my friends said that he highly recommended playing and he wasn't going to play with me on Xbox anymore because he got rid of his, so I decided to get a computer and then we played together.
I played consoles a lot. I grew up on consoles, but my brother started playing on PCs a lot more, and he built his own PC for around $900. And I was like, oh, this one's really good, Pat. Can I get one for cheaper than this? And he said, yeah, I'll help you build it. So I got it and I started playing on it, and at first it was hard for me. I didn't really feel comfortable because I was used to a controller. But after time, I just fell into it.
I try to make media and edit videos and stuff like that whenever I get a chance. So maybe on a weekend I'll write a script for a video and throw it together with a couple of friends of mine, and I'll spend average of around 4 to 5 hours just editing on a 10-minute video. So it gets to be a lot of hours totaled up that I spend using this computer, and that's why I decided to spend so much money and so much time on it.
I have a group of friends that I play with every night from about 8 to 10. From all of my gaming, I probably have a little bit more than 3,000 hours in total playing all video games. Based on the ranking of what Valve has set, they are the creators of Counter-Strike, they say my ranking is the top 1%. Competitive gaming I do because it's very fun. For the most tournaments that we play in, they are like a normal tournament for any sport. There's half of them are like single elimination, then the other ones there's double elimination, there's a lower and upper bracket, just like for most sports. First, second, and third place always get money. Typically, we range from first to 32nd.
Well, I think that editing for me could be a potential career opportunity, and it also just allows me to kind of express myself in a way that I am not able to do in my daily life. It allows me to kind of alter reality and create, new versions of myself or other people that I know, and acting and putting a story together. Just it allows me to really find a better meaning to some things, and it's just something that I like to do with my time a lot. It's fun.
The benefits of playing all these games would be to, in the long run, become a professional at it and use it as a job. Pros of the game that I want to play, CSGO, make 6 figures a year, and that's good money just for playing a game that you love.
I think the PC really is the ultimate device for anyone because it can do so much more than any other device out there. It's a lot more powerful than a cell phone or a laptop or anything like that, and it's much more versatile than maybe a console, because you can game on it just as well as a console, even quite a bit better than a console usually, but you can also do homework, and you can just do pretty much everything you would ever need to with a computer when a lot of other devices are limited in their capabilities. And that's why the computer is just so much better of an option than a lot of other devices out there right now. And the customization doesn't end there. There are so many more things that you can do with a custom computer that we didn't show you or mention. It's up to you to explore what you want and build the PC to your specifications and likings. The task at hand may seem tedious at first, but the benefits of having a custom computer are truly limitless. Custom computers are not as much of a hobby and more of a lifestyle. Thousands, if not millions of people worldwide share a deep bond for the love of computer building, and hopefully now you can appreciate them more as well. If you ever have the opportunity to build a computer, take it, because I can assure you that you won't regret it. So get building.
Ariane Frank, ARIANNE-FRINK. I started my cookie and cupcake business when I was a sophomore in college, between my freshman and sophomore year of college. I have a business card that says Confections by Ari, and that's the name on the website. I was at home and I wanted to work over the summer, and I'd always made these cookies that all of our family and friends always wanted. So over the holidays, I would send Christmas cookies to all my friends all over the country and family all over the country. Even when I was just sending it out to them, it would be a full batch of cookies. And these cookies are pretty labor intensive, so it takes 2 days to make one batch because I have to bake them, or I have to make the dough first, then I have to chill the dough overnight. And then the second day, actually really 3 days. So the second day, I roll out the cookie with a rolling pin, and then I cut out the shapes and bake them. And then those have to be totally cool before I can frost them, otherwise it melts the frosting. So then the frosting happens either late that night or the next day. So it really is a process. So it's not like someone's having a craving for a cookie, and I'm like, let me whip you up one cookie. You know, it really is only worth it if you do a big batch. It started word of mouth, and so just people we knew would tell their friends, and so their friends would call me and order them. I would do graduation parties, wedding showers, baby showers, stuff like that. Mostly bigger events. The most recent event I did was in November, and it was an engagement party. So I had to do little wedding ring cookies, and then she also wanted them wrapped in cellophane bags and then tied with a string that also had like a little circle on it that was cardstock, and it had a little heart and design. So it was a lot more steps involved, which is also time consuming. When I was in college and I was doing it mostly over the summer and Christmas break, sometimes my mom would help me because it was her recipe originally. So sometimes if I was really busy, she would make the dough for me, or she would help me just cutting the cookies out because they're cream cheese cutout cookies, so kind of like sugar cookies with cream cheese. So she would help me out kind of as my assistant. Mostly I just wanted her to clean up after me, but now when I make them, I have to clean up after myself. I prefer to make cookies because there are so many design options. So you can do an infinite combination of shapes and colors and different types of sprinkles. So you can cater it to whatever the person wants. I have a really cute cupcake cookie cutter that I like to decorate like a cupcake. I also have a cute whale that I did for one graduation party. They were pink whales, and that was really cute. One thing I love too is I have a full alphabet of cookie cutters, so I like to make people's initials because it's personal and it's kind of nice. Well, I don't want to. The secret to my cookies is the cream cheese. So when people compare it to other sugar cookies, they're like, why are you so much better? And it's the cream cheese for sure. It gives them a different quality to them. They're a little bit more moist, and they just have a richer flavor. And the frosting has cream cheese in it too, just a little bit. So that's the secret, it's the magic ingredient. With a cupcake, it's like the cupcake and the frosting. You can put sprinkles on top, or you could use a cupcake liner, but you can't really personalize it as much. I like making people happy with food. You know, I like to cook for people, I like to bake, but it's just fun when they eat something you've made and it brings them joy, and you know that you've provided that for them.
My name is Anna.
is Deidre Dory Fuller. I was 42 when Eliana was born. On February 22nd, she will be 8 years old. She enjoys dance. She loves to read books and play games. I found out that Eliana had Down syndrome when she was born, for certain. I was suspicious that she might have Down syndrome or another genetic disorder when I was about 20 weeks pregnant and went for my first ultrasound. I was checking her heart, looking at her heart when they were ultrasounding her. There was a bright flash on the ultrasound around her heart. I had never seen with any of our previous 5 children. It kind of gave me cause for concern because that can be a marker for some genetic disorders to see that flash. They wanted to take me to the room, which sounded very scary, seeing as my husband was not with me and I had never been asked to be taken to the room before. I didn't know what the room was, but I knew I didn't want to go there without my husband. So I asked if I could call and reschedule to go to the room when my husband was available. And they pretty much told me no, that I had to go to the room. So I tried to be a good patient and I went to the room, but it was much like a dog going to the vet's office. I felt like I wanted to put my legs up against the door and not go in the room. So when I got in the room, that's when the doctor suggested that there were 2 or 3 markers that they saw that could be consistent with a genetic disorder. And what he basically told me was that the baby could be perfectly fine, or the baby could have Down syndrome, or the baby could have trisomy 18 or trisomy 13. Both trisomy 13 and trisomy 18 are genetic disorders that are much more complicated than Down syndrome, and very often those babies don't survive. So I figured 2 out of 4 isn't bad, and especially seeing as my husband wasn't there, that we'd just keep praying and hope that God would be merciful and not worry about it. Why they wanted me to go to the room that day was because I was 20 weeks. Under the law, at that time, you could legally perform an abortion up to 22 weeks. And that was what they wanted to discuss with me. They wanted to suggest that I end the pregnancy because there was some indication that she could have a genetic disorder. At which point I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started feeling very sorry for the man who had to deliver this information to me, and that he had to actually suggest to people to kill their children. It's not anything that I would want to have to suggest to somebody. I did cry after I left the room. I'm not sure if I was crying for me or crying for him, but she was born. I was thrilled to death. We were happy we made it through the delivery and that she looked healthy, because I knew if she had trisomy 21, then she didn't have 18 and she didn't have 13. An Asian doctor was the one who showed up at the delivery, and she didn't think the baby looked like she had Down syndrome, and she was kind of waffling when she was hesitating when she was telling us, and I said, "Oh, Dr. Pop, she does have Down syndrome. You can tell by looking at her." And she said, "Well, I don't know what people are seeing." And I said, "Well, she looks Asian," and I'm not Asian, because children with Down syndrome have very Asian-looking eyes. They have a little bit more of a slant to their eye, and they have very flat facial features, and that's part of the Down syndrome appearance. But it's also very typical of Asian babies also. So we first just introduced her to our children, to our family, and let them get to know her. And then we said that there were things that were a little bit different about her that we were looking into, and then we waited for the information to come back, confirming that she did have Down syndrome. At which point then we let everybody know, and then we tried to explain it as best we could. Through her infancy, the difference was that we had to do a lot of exercises with her to increase her tone, her muscle tone, to get her the strength that she needed to be able to develop properly. And we had to do a lot of play therapy and a lot of therapy to get her to be able to do things that babies would typically just learn to do as they're growing. But the blessing in it is that we did have other kids, so they were able to help us, and she wanted to do what they are doing. So she had a big drive to try and compete with them and keep up with them. I think the biggest sacrifice would be we had to change the way we thought as a family and the way we did things as a family in order to get her needs met. What's your favorite movie?
Annie.
Annie?
No. The way. Madagascar.
Madagascar?
Yeah.
Yes. Communication. Children with Down syndrome don't generally speak until they're about 2. And so we taught her sign language in order to bridge that gap. We knew she had language when she was 8 months old because she actually signed back something appropriately. Here we live near an airport, and so we've been teaching her airplane. Every time we saw an airplane, we'd point to it and show her the sign for airplane. And so she would copy us when she'd see the airplane and do it. But there was a day when I was feeding her and I was kind of burping her on my shoulder, and she was looking out the window, and the boys were in the front yard playing with styrofoam airplanes, which obviously don't make any noise. And she looked at me and she signed airplane. And because I didn't hear an airplane, I thought, what the heck? I said, no, there's no airplane, silly baby. And she grabbed my face and put it out the window, and she signed airplane again at me. And when I saw that, then I realized she could be taught and that she had language, which was huge.
Eliana has taught me to smile no matter what comes our way. Seeing her happy all the time makes us happy too.
She's taught me that stubbornness can sometimes be perseverance in disguise.
What pure love is, because from the minute she was born, she's just been loving and has brought up wells of love from inside of me for her. And I think she does that for everybody.
Oh, she has taught me that there is love, lots of love in the little girl, and that disability doesn't mean a thing.
Taught me to slow down.
She's taught me how to take care of babies because she's always needing taken care of.
She's taught me a lot more patience is needed on my part.
She's taught me how to love people.
As soon as she was born, from the moment I looked at her, I just knew that I would be able to do it. And every day I just am so glad that we did. I just love her more, and I'm so happy that she's in our lives.
Sorry. So I think Eliana, I think she sees the world the way God sees the world. She sees us the way God sees us. Because she, like I said, she loves everybody, and she doesn't hold back with her love.
Drama is a place where people can really kind of stretch and be creative and learn about themselves, and it's something that doesn't require any specific background or experience. It doesn't cost any money to be a part of. You can do it pretty much anywhere, and so it's a really great way for people to learn and to grow and to try new things.
Drama Club is an organization here at the high school that allows students to perform in plays and also participate behind the scenes in plays.
It's sort of like an improv club. You get to play improv games, you get to learn stage terms, you get to hone your acting skills. It's educational. It's really fun.
Drama Club is a place for relaxation and fun and friendship.
I've been in theater since last winter. I joined for Grease, and I've started going to drama club meetings after that because I loved being around all the people.
I love drama club because it's such an experience, and it's so great to see all these people, and it's great to find yourself within this club while you're also finding everyone else.
It's okay to be fun and crazy, and nobody ever makes fun of you for anything, and so you get to have a lot of fun there.
I thought we were fighting you. Wait. Okay, hang on.
Who wants to go next? I saw your hand, and Elena, and Colin. Woo!
The drama club was started in the fall of 1993. I was a junior in high school, and we always had a musical every year, or every other year. We had a musical and a Pops concert, and they were done by the music department. But there wasn't really anything for those of us who wanted to explore theater that wasn't musical based, that didn't have any music involved. So myself and a group of friends who were really involved in the musical at the school and other projects like that approached Rebecca Grebe, who at the time was directing the musical, and asked her if she would sponsor a club where we could do a straight play every year. And so the original idea was just a club that would produce a straight play once a year, a non-musical play. And it turned into a bigger thing after that.
The core group probably was maybe 10 to 12. And those were the real committed kids who came to me. So it was very much student-led, and I was just the adult that kind of facilitated them, but they were very motivated to create this opportunity for themselves.
Lucille Ball. Happy birthday, princess.
Lucille Ball and me, Cindy.
I was actually very shy when I was a little kid, and being a part of drama and performing gave me a lot of confidence, and it also taught me some skills that I could use when I was in situations where I wasn't really comfortable. I could fake it and kind of perform a little bit, and so it helped a lot with just confidence and with being able to talk to people and with feeling comfortable speaking in front of groups.
I would say that drama club has really changed my life. I think it's been the most influential thing on me personally, and just how I hold myself, as opposed to slouching over basically, and just other stuff in my life that I wouldn't be more open to and more comfortable with, like public speaking, so easy now. Thanks, drama club.
In drama club, I have learned so many, not only life lessons, as in acceptance and friendship, but also acting things like stage terms and what you really do backstage and how important it is.
Okay, so as you guys know, the reason that we brought this in is because sometimes stuff goes wrong. We kind of chose funnier ways for things to go wrong, but in actual shows, things do go wrong. For instance, sometimes people may forget to take on a prop, or someone may forget their lines, and it's important to be able to improvise.
This is my 4th year as the advisor. I directed some of the shows before that, but this is my 4th year as the advisor. The most rewarding part of my job is working with students. I could do theater with adults, and I'm sure that's wonderful, but I love teaching theater, and I love students exploring and learning new things, and I love getting to be there and be a part of that. And I love that I get to to know them in a different way than you would just in school. And then I can be a grown-up in their lives who they feel like they can trust and that they can talk to if they need someone.
I've known Ms. Glatt since 6th grade, I want to say. She was the person I could look up to and I could go to no matter what, because I mean, she watched me grow up, you know, and like, I think that's like really big that someone can say that, you know, who's not like your parents or like family, is that you have someone who you've grown up with and had there as like a mentor and like someone to support you and motivate you in whatever you do, whether it's drama or school or your love life. It's been really great to have someone there at this school and just someone to fall back on in case everything goes wrong.
I think whenever we do a show, it definitely becomes a little family because we spend so much time together. But I think the club in general, it's kind of a safe place for people to be silly and be weird and have fun and explore and take risks. And so I think the members of the drama club trust each other a lot, which I think is really cool.
To this poor provincial town.
Good morning, Belle.
Good morning, monsieur.
Where are you off to?
The bookshop.
You want to go on a date? It's gotta end there. It's gotta end there.
The community in Drama Club is one of the most accepting communities I've ever experienced, and it was very nice to be included so quickly and so unconditionally as I did here.
Everyone's really close. It's like a big family. We all get along really well, and it's so fun.
I think a really key part of Drama Club is not only like coming to meetings and stuff like that, but like seeing the shows, frankly. I know that sounds like a publicity pitch, like come see the spring plays and stuff like that, or the fall show or the winter musical. I think the kids in Drama Club deserve it. I think they deserve for people to come and see what has been months and months of work. I think they really deserve to come see like that final product. They deserve an audience, and I think people should be that audience.
Everybody can be in Drama Club. It's Drama Club, guys.
If you're in high school and you're willing to give theater a shot, our doors are open.
I'm very proud of how far the Drama Club has come. I remember passing around a petition in lunch as a student because that's how you got a club started. You had to prove that enough students were interested. And I remember taking that petition around and getting people to sign, and knowing now that the club has run, you know, a few decades since then, and countless people have come through and done performances for the community, and some have gone on to actually find their careers in theater, on stage or behind the scenes. It's amazing to me that something that was just kind of an idea because we wanted to do a straight play has turned into something that has affected so many people, and that's incredibly cool.